Hello friends, in this class 2 I would like to explain about history of Indian agriculture. Yesterday I have given the introduction to the agriculture and today we will see history of Indian agriculture from the beginning, the time from ancient agriculture, after that shifting cultivation, then root crop agriculture. After all this happened, how 5 types of revolution which had taken place I'll explain from Neolithic age to Green Revolution. So let us see how agriculture has started at the time of evolution. So in ancient agriculture we are having 5 stages. They are gathering, protection of preferred plants, gardening, subsistence farming and cash cropping, and the last one is commercial farming. These are the 5 stages or 5 steps which had taken place one after the other. In the beginning, we all know that human will be after the hunting instead of, directly they didn't go for raising of crops or agriculture farming, but they went for gathering. So at the time in the beginning, human will be hunting for the meat, even he'll be digging out the tubers and he'll be eating on that. So that's we call gathering. That means wherever the tuber plants are there, he'll be digging out with the help of stick and he'll be feeding on it. That's called gathering. Wherever in the forest area, the plants which can be eaten by the men can be gathered. That's the first stage in the evolution, there gathering. Then the next one is protection of preferred plants. So when men came to know these are the plants which are very helpful, we can feed on it. So then he started protecting those plants. That means he started giving importance from then. So as days passed by, when he came to know certain plants which are very helpful for the feeding, then he started gardening that. That means he started multiply the plants in particular land area. So that's called gardening by giving irrigation. Maybe you can assume that wherever the river banks are there nearby the rivers, they started growing the plants. From then, as men started multiplying and making like some colonies, from then they started growing the food by their own. That we call subsistence farming. Subsistence farming means the crops which are raised by the farmer for him and for his family. For him and his family, if there anything surplus, then he started go for selling, for the trading purpose. So subsistence farming for only for his own family. That's what they have started. Then whatever the surplus food produce, whatever they have, then they will go for selling. That we call cash cropping, to get cash. In those days they go for exchange of materials. For example, if I have black gram, I'll exchange this black gram with another farmer with green gram or red gram, I'm giving an example. Then commercial farming, that's where at the time of Green Revolution or before the Green Revolution, that's where farmers are going for commercial farming. Commercial farming means not only for his own purpose but also for the needs of others by selling the crop produce. That we call commercial farming. These are the 5 major steps or stages which had taken place in ancient agriculture, but not within years, but these all 5 stages has taken place in thousands of years. So just I am given the brief introduction. Then the next one is shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is also one of the part in ancient agriculture. Shifting cultivation also in the time of Neolithic period and after that we can believe. Shifting cultivation, the other names of shifting cultivation is assortage system. This is very, very important. Please note down assortage system. Then followed by jhum cultivation, that they call in Assam. Then podu cultivation in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. Slash and burn cultivation we call in Bihar. Walra in Rajasthan. These are the different names which they used in different states of our country. So these are the other names. So please do remember assortage system, jhum cultivation and slash and burn cultivation. These are the 3 important questions which often asked. I'll explain the meaning of shifting cultivation. In earlier, we don't have how our farmers are cultivating in the particular land area forever, year after the year by adding up some fertilizers and by adding some manures. But earlier especially in hilly areas and all. This shifting cultivation comes from north. In our country, we believe it is especially followed in northeastern states of our country. So wherever hilly areas is there, they just cut down the trees and they'll clear the land area, and there they go for cultivation of crops for 2 to 3 years or 4 years until the fertility of the soil get lost. Once the soil fertility is loosened, then they will be shifting from that place to the next place. So there again they will cut the plant trees and again they go for cultivation. So likewise from one place to the other place they will be shifting. That's why they named it as shifting cultivation. So this is one of the method what they are following. We believe still in northeastern states, still some places they follow, we do believe. Then the next one is root crop agriculture. Root crop agriculture means in the olden days human just believed on depended on root crops. Those crops they especially grown in the soils which are alluvial type. These soils which are in hilly areas and also nearby river banks, they raised in alluvial soils in the beginning. Then especially tuber bearing plants. So in this time they started using primitive tools like stone axes and wooden digging sticks. So this is the first time where they have started using stone axes and wooden digging sticks, which are naturally obtained, not much human involvement like by iron axes or Lenny's plastic and all, but stone axes and wooden digging sticks, this is one of the important blank. But here as days passed by, because of population grown and it became so difficult for them to go for this root crop agriculture. Instead of that they went for gardening and subsistence farming. These two are part of these 5 stages. I'm telling again, these two are part of these 5 stages. As days passed by, one after the other happened. So population grown, it became so difficult for them to go for only root crop agriculture where they use stone axes and wooden digging sticks. But instead of that they started adopting some other plants which are edible and they depend on it and they started multiplying. That's where they went for subsistence farming, cash cropping, followed by commercial farming. This is all about the ancient agriculture. Now let us see the agricultural revolutions which had taken place. See, right now the agricultural revolutions what we are studying, they are completely different from the revolutions which I am going to explain. So like green revolution or round revolution, white revolution, they all are modern revolutions. But earlier we are having 5 types of revolutions. They are Neolithic revolution, domestication of animals, Arab agriculture revolution, British agriculture revolution, and the last one is green revolution. We are very familiarized with the green revolution, but before that we had these 4 types of revolutions. Let us see from one age to the other age how these revolutions had happened. The first one is Neolithic revolution, which we believe that it had happened in between 8000 BC to 5000 BC, before Christ. So this one is given by Veer Gordon, Veergordon, Veergordon Childe. Veer Gordon Childe, in the years of 1920, he has given about Neolithic revolution which had happened in the years duration between 8000 to 5000 BC. So this is the time where people has transferred or the transition which happened from hunting and gathering to agriculture. This is the time where people started transforming from hunting and gathering to agriculture. So this is the time where first humans started raising the crops called barley and wheat. This is very, very important, which is often which is asking in the examination, barley and wheat. So the time is in Neolithic revolution. This is also very important, blank. Then this is the time where people started storing food grains in the storage structures. Earlier, because people are having the habit of shifting from one place to the other place, even their lifestyle is something like hunting where they don't store the food, but as they started raising the crop, they are finding the food grains are surplus, so they started storing the food grains. So this is the Neolithic revolution time, they started storing the food grains. So these are the places where especially this Neolithic revolution had happened. So Asian continent, in Africa and America, Western, Eastern Asia, even Central America, this Neolithic revolution had happened. Then the next stage or revolution is domestication of animals. This domestication of animals, we all know they will be asking the first animal that human adapted or started domesticating the animal. The first animal is dog, followed by sheep, followed by goat, followed by cow, followed by pig. So first one is dog. So keep in your mind, first human didn't go for sheep but he went for dog, because dog was helping this human for hunting. That's the reason first human started domesticating dog, followed by sheep, followed by goat, followed by cow, and at last pig. So this is the order where domestication of animals had taken place. The reason why dog has it got very good preference means while they are growing the crop, it needs some protection. So that's the reason while they are raising the crop, in their hand they are required of dog. So they started rearing the dog in their field. Then followed by sheep, goat, cow, and pig. So in this, the important blank is, this is the order. Order is very, very important. Dog followed by sheep, followed by goat, followed by cow, and last pigs. Arab Agricultural Revolution. The other names of Arab Agricultural Revolution are Medieval Green Revolution, Muslim Agricultural Revolution, Islamic Agricultural Revolution, Islamic Green Revolution. So these are the 5 names which got by Arab Agricultural Revolution. Apart from that, these are the 4 names. So this agricultural revolution, the term coined by Andrew Watson in the year 1974. Though this revolution had happened very long ago, but which was identified by Andrew Watson, and he is the one who coined this agricultural revolution in the year 1974. Why they named or they said this is one of the revolution? The reason is these Arab countries or these Muslim Islamic countries and all, those days every country they have their own crops, but the plant which we are having in our own country, the same plant or crop may not be in other country. So these are the people where they have started trading or exchanging there and here the crops and seeds. And when they started, the crops which Arab countries are raising, those crops started going to the other countries where people also started adopting those crops. Likewise, crop diversification had happened. Till then, whatever the crops which are there in that native place, they were depending on that. But from the time Arab Agriculture Revolution, this is the revolution where crop diversification had happened. So we can believe that crop diversification had happened in the time of Arab Agriculture Revolution. Then the next one is British Agricultural Revolution. So British Agricultural Revolution had happened in between 17th to 19th century, that we know even our country ruled by during this time of period ruled by Britishers. So in this time of revolution, especially advances has taken place in science and engineering and also farm mechanization. So though there won't be much like revolution what we had in Green Revolution, it didn't take place, but some advances had happened in science and engineering as well as mechanization. But why we didn't get good results from this agricultural revolution? The reason is those days Britishers will be occupying entire land area under them, and the countries which they are ruling, the own people who all are belong to that particular country made them to be slaves to the Britishers, and they were working in the field, and those food grains which are raised in the field will be owned by these Britishers. That's the reason much development didn't take place. But though because they have come to the other countries, they have brought their own technology to the other countries like science and engineering and some mechanization. That's the thing. But as they are growing the crops and where they are in much need of harvesting the crop by depending on missions, small scale missions, that's the reason. The last one is Green Revolution. Green Revolution had taken place in the years of in between 1940 to late 1970s, which was led by Norman E. Borlaug. He is called as father of Green Revolution. He was called as father of Green Revolution, and he is the one who started bringing out high yielding varieties and also changed irrigation structures and also the management techniques like farm machinery and etc. And even he started bringing out the hybrid seeds and also for going for fertilizers and also pesticides etc. For these all dramatic change had taken place during the time of Norman E. Borlaug. That's the reason he named after father of Green Revolution, where the entire world is in great need of food. He is the one who brought out the high yielding varieties, especially rice and wheat. They concentrated on this. The term Green Revolution was coined by the scientist named, the person called William Gurt in the year 1968. This one first used by this person. He is one of the former United States Agency for International Development. In short form we call USAID. USAID. He is the director, former director of this USAID. He is the one who coined the term Green Revolution in the year 1968. Then after that, in our country in the year of 1961 we got great famine, and where we are in great need of food grain. That's the time where MS Swaminathan, he is the advisor to the Ministry of Agriculture of our country. He invited Norman E. Borlaug to our country, and he got so many suggestions from Norman E. Borlaug. From the time they started importing seeds from the CIMMYT. The CIMMYT is International Institute where they do research on wheat and maize. You can go through. So it is in Mexico. So they started importing the seeds from CIMMYT, and also the imported seeds which are high yielding variety, they first started doing their trials in the state Punjab. They started doing the first trial in Punjab, the rice high yielding variety which is IR8, which was introduced by International Rice Research Institute, which is in Manila, Philippines. That is the rice variety which they got into our country. That's why they named it as miracle rice. These are very important blanks. That's why I'm insisting on each and every point. So this miracle rice or IR8, without applying any fertilizer, this particular variety is able to give 5 tons per hectare without applying any fertilizers. Under normal conditions, by applying the fertilizers, this crop can give 10 tons per hectare. But earlier, not even 2 tons to get. It became so hard and our country is unable to meet the food demand. But when they went for this particular variety, and when they started doing few more dwarf varieties, and when they started getting this yield, we are self-sufficient, subsistence, and started exporting the food grains from our country to other countries. That's what happened with the Green Revolution. That's why Green Revolution is very important. This Green Revolution especially for wheat and rice crop. They did especially for wheat and rice crop. For all the crops, they named it as Rainbow Revolution. Now they are especially concentrating on Evergreen Revolution by having on every crop by getting much more yield. So overall development of agriculture also they are concentrating. For further, I'll be explaining in the further classes. Thank you so much. If you like this, please like the video and share and subscribe. Thank you so much.